Everybody, Roger and James here from DisKingdom. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the brand new Omega Prestige system that has been introduced to Marvel Heroes Omega. This is kind of a new way of kind of rewarding players for grinding through the game. You can level up now. An extra level up, you get extra bonuses and stuff. You can glow a little bit. Now, you can also, at the same point, it only currently works for Spider-Man. They've only introduced that for him. There is also a store option where you can spend $40 and you get Spider-Man, you get some costumes, you get some boxes, but you also get automatically upgraded to this. Now the key thing here is you have to, rank up 6 times. So originally I thought that was rank up, you have to play through and level up 6 times, but no, apparently you have to level up 70 times to get leveled up to this point. So what did you think of this?
I think it's a very desperate effort to increase replayability, and I think that it's an insane amount of power creep. I'm not a fan of this choice at all, especially since it's only on Spider-Man at the moment. This feels like a very, very poor way of trying to force players to put more time into the game. It's just and there'll be players who do it, obviously, and that's fine. That it's their time; they can do whatever they want with it. But man, they could put these resources into so much better things in this game. I kind
of looked at this and went, "You talk about resources. I can't imagine it's really going to take a lot to do this. It seems like a couple of twists and turns of some numbers of, changed, leveled up 1 to 6, add a few more numbers on it, and suddenly we've just doubled the grinding or quadrupled the grinding for some people.
Quadrupled, I don't even know how you would say it. It's like 10 times the grinding because now you have to play through the game 70 times on a single character. I mean, you can level up however you want. You don't have to play through the story, but the story is still the most efficient way to level. It is just like twisting a couple knobs, creating a UI, but they have to balance it.
Yeah.
And now you have to balance it across 70 levels of upgrades. And now you have a definitive, this is the most powerful character in the game because nobody else has access to it, which means you got to balance around that too. There are a lot of hidden resources in this that give us a new raid. Give us the raid in the console version.
And then, of course, you got the other option as well of just doing, I think it was $40, so you got the Spider-Man pack. So if I purchased a Spider-Man pack before, I think it was about $20. So basically, if you've already got Spider-Man, he's no good because you'd have to buy it again. But if you hadn't, you could essentially be like, go, okay, $40. Suddenly you are the cream. You're walking around in the game with this big glow on, and everyone's looking and going, well, he's either really good or he's fast-tracked it. Personally, I'll be honest, I was a little bit like, okay, so you're adding a little bit of added value for long-term players that really want to grind through this game to get a little little badge, basically.
A little glowing badge.
Yeah, and on one hand, it's like, well, if it gives some, reasons for people to play through, it seems fine. I think the idea of doing a bonus, level up, that's good. For me personally, I think when you hit level 60, you jump over to a different character. If you've got all your characters at level 60, then I can see, well, okay, I've got a reason to do it. I don't invest that much time. I pick this game up for an hour or two a day or a week and play it. I like the game, and that's the thing. I'd much rather just pick up a new character drops in. I'd much rather just play through a bit of them and kind of do it up. To me, level 60 seems hard enough trying to get to, let alone trying to do the concept of doing 70 runs through. Of which point I'm just going, you could do it another character, but I could be playing something out, and there is this kind of this, like we say, with this service thing of trying to keep people locked in the game rather than getting distracted playing something else. So on one hand, I look at it and go, it's a ridiculous amount of time that's needed for this. And on the other hand, if you're willing to put it in for it, then it's your own time. It's not costing you money because you don't have to upgrade to do it. But the reaction I saw on the forums and Reddit on YouTube generally was a general kind of, what is this? They don't like it. And also, if you are playing as one character, it gives you less inclination to try other characters because you're trying to get up to that super level up.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with the system itself. If they want to include this, then cool. The problem I have with it is that it's just Spider-Man. Is they really needed to roll this out with multiple characters if they were going to do this, because frankly, Spider-Man's a really boring character in this game. I know that there's some people who
Yeah.
really like playing him. That's cool. They can do it, but I leveled Spider-Man up and I never touched him again because I don't enjoy his gameplay. And now I feel like, oh, if they ever do release the raid in the console version, or if they release more endgame content, I have to play Spider-Man because he's going to be the most powerful character by a long shot.
But there is this, it's that kind of thing. Is I probably for me, I find it a little bit of a thing of every single game I play, this whole thing of upgrade this, get that, get this, get the best suits, get Zelda, I didn't even use a single Core XC to upgrade how many slots I had, and all these people were grading all these other, like I need character A. Sonic the Hedgehog, he comes out in his shoes and he plays the entire level as he is. That is, for me, that is all I want. And this whole thing about customization, so for me, it does not appeal in one little bit. So, I get all the powers. I get, if I landed a character at level 40 and I didn't like it anymore, I'm just going to drop out. I'm not going to go, well, I've got to keep going. For me, the concept of it, I don't have that mentality. So therefore, for me, it's a little bit like, if you want to go do it, but it doesn't interest me in the slightest.
Yeah, and I mean, these games have to be designed for all sorts of gamers, the kind who will put in, 1,000 hours just to level Spider-Man up to his maximum potential.
Personally, I'd spend the $20 and just not have to do 1,000 hours. But that's what the problem. What I think some people are a little bit like, hold on, my time is worth more than that. And that's there's so many different arguments and different ways of looking at it. Like I said, personally, I looked at it and went, okay, it's kind of a nice bonus if you want to try it, but it's not for me. Move along. I didn't have any anger towards it or any. It literally was along the lines of, nope, not for me, and on to something else. Then I think that it's just a very odd thing.
I think for me, a lot of it though also comes down to the fact that there have been a lot of decisions I haven't agreed with for Marvel Heroes Omega coming out the past several months since the console launch. I'm totally fine with the console launch itself, no problems there, but as I've mentioned in the past, the obviously restricted inventory is a cash grab to force you to try and buy more inventory space. The lack of any meaningful new content. I do not consider this meaningful new content. This is just a power boost.
Yeah.
And a very just like, oh, how can we keep people grinding the same content without giving them new content? Because if this came with like, oh, well, you can get the prestiges, and then after you prestige the first time, you unlock a special area for Spider-Man where, you get a special trial and maybe you get like a cool item as a result of the trial. That'd be different because I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll totally prestige him at least once to do this. But no, this is just them turning a couple of knobs and dials, like you said.
In some ways, it's almost, I feel like it would have made more sense of going, right, okay, we're not doing level 60 cap, we're boosting it now to 99 or 100 and doing that across every character. And just change the number there and just been like, right, we're going to give you more incentive to go higher on these characters, but at level 60, all the stuff still unlocks, but you can... It sounds so much... I think for me, just the concept of leveling up characters once is hard enough for me. So trying to do 70 times is just like, I have no interest. I'd rather play something else.
I've leveled up every single character in this game through the PC version. I'm good. I don't need to do it again. I did it for a couple of characters on the console versions just to play through the console versions, but no, I'm set. Don't need to play through the story again. I don't need to hear Shocker, talking about bringing it on anymore, or all the catchphrases that are said over and over and over again because they get they only have some lines.
I think the thing for me generally is when I do play, I'll tend to put a podcast. So I normally just have it on mute because it doesn't really need music or any noise, because it's kind of like that kind of game where I'll listen to a podcast and just like do it at the same time kind of thing. But like I said, for me, I just looked at this and just was like, all right, it's not for me. Like I said, I wasn't I didn't really. I think that was almost a kind of thing of it. I just was a bit like, all right, no, fine.
Yeah. and, and I think a lot of the anger or disdain over it isn't the idea itself. The idea itself is fine. It's just why this is just another one of those things where, we were talking about the mobile games yesterday, and it's like there's this feeling that Disney's kind of putting pressure on all these studios to force them to kind of gouge us and prove their own profitability. And this feels like, well, no, see, it's super easy. Here's just a $40 pack.
I mean,
for
it's
you.
only going to be. I think it's only available for a month that you can buy this character. So
But that's its own incentive as well. It's like limited time offer.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not going to be limited time. It's going to come back to the store over and over.
But
they've been doing it since the beginning.
Yeah, see, I also have this problem as well. I do feel like with the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store, they need to be wary of how much priced stuff they've got on there, because if you're trying to get a new player in, if you sit back in a Spider-Man suit on there for $40, it's going to put people off. So you've got to price it off a little bit. But no, I think also the problem as well, we're in this really awkward bit at the minute where the console has kind of got all the attention, getting all the new shiny stuff. Most of it's just polished up from the PC, but the PC's not getting the content, which is upsetting the long-term player. We're in a real weird bit where, it's like you're a PC player that's a little bit disgruntled, whereas I'm loving it on the console, and it's like I didn't like it on the PC. So there's two different sides, and from where I'm sitting on the console side, it's like, yeah, all the nice new shiny stuff is fine. But as a PC player, I could see well, what are you doing for us? And I think there's this big problem in the community at the moment because of that.
Well, yeah, and I mean, a lot of the PC players have been playing since launch, which is almost 4 years ago now. And you're like, yeah, so we've been giving you money for 4 years. Some of us have given you a lot of money for 4 years, and the new hot thing is out there. So I don't really subscribe to that too much because every game's got a life cycle, but I can totally see where they're coming from.
The only thing that does get me is when someone says, "Oh, I've been grinding for 4,000 hours and I've not paid any money in," and you're like, well, to be fair, that's not really helping them in the slightest.
It helps them a little because it helps keep the game up higher on the charts, which gives it visibility, which brings in more players. But yeah, you playing for 4,000 hours, they're going to look at that and go, well, give us money.
Yeah. Yeah, as a businessman, I have tables with people sat down having. If I have someone sit there with a cup of coffee for 8 hours, I don't really want them at the table, and even less when I have some customer sit there in the morning and doesn't want to buy anything. I will move him along because essentially it's very simple. It's they need to make money, and I don't think this is the right system. I don't think this is a good way. I think it just feels a bit odd.
Well, I mean, that's the current state of MMOs, of course. Or not even MMOs. You got like Overwatch and whatnot, using the loot box systems and whatnot as well. But we're in new territory, and a lot of companies, Gazillion and Marvel and Disney included, are going to be looking for any way they can monetize this. In my opinion, this isn't the right one, though. I'm really hoping this one doesn't actually work out financially for them because I don't really want to see this one continue on. But if it does, then you know what? Good for them. I do want these companies to make money even if I'm not playing their games anymore. I obviously don't want bad things to happen to Gazillion. Just I would really rather if you did something more substantial.
Yeah. So now, well, let us know your thoughts on this. Get in touch with us using the comments below. You can also get in touch with us on social media. As per usual, like, comment, and subscribe. You can also check out James over at heroiclegacy.com, and you can strike us over at DisKingdom.com. And on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you guys soon. Later.